So what we're looking at here is looking at adaptability, looking at how we attract talent, looking at how this has affected businesses' ability to be able to hire, internal mobility, virtual recruiting as opposed to in-person recruiting. And you can see some of the stats here. I think when we look at adaptability, this is something that 55% of Asia's talent say adaptability is a very important skill. Numbers could be much higher than that, but I think a lot of businesses, from how we recruit into healthcare all the way through to the healthcare businesses themselves, have had to adapt very, very quickly in the past few years. Even within our business, within Empresaria, we saw pharmaceutical strategies, one of our relatively small healthcare recruitment businesses in America, go from being a relatively small company making double-digit placements per year to making double-digit, triple-digit placements per month. And it became the biggest business within our portfolio in Asia Pacific very, very quickly due to the increase in demand for nurses. So that adaptability really, showed with that. And we're seeing a lot of positions within healthcare where people would decline jobs as well, and healthcare and other sectors also, where they don't have that focus on health and wellness, where they don't have the focus on COVID safety, and where they don't have flexible working environments as well. That ability to be able to work from home, work from the office, especially with family, especially with traffic, etc., has been something that has moved into the top 5 in terms of why people change their job. Number 1, number 2, still money, still career progression, but flexibility, health and wellness are now moving up into the top 5 or top 6 of the key things that we're seeing from candidates wanting from their employers. And I think in terms of diversity as well, diversity of the professionals we're bringing in, and how we engage those talents, as we mentioned earlier. A lot of people are joining businesses where they haven't actually met someone. You've only seen this much of them on a screen. Is it a good way to hire people? Are there better ways to do it? Will the technology move forward to make this better for us? Well, there's no hiding from this now. It is one of the best ways to be able to hire people. And if companies want to grow, they're going to have to adapt to the new normal in terms of how we do that. So hopefully some of those stats are useful for you guys. Again, we will share these with you, so you've got this information after the meeting. But we'll move through now to the final question number 3. So are we seeing demand for new skills? And how is your business attracting and retaining talent in this candidate short market? So what we're looking at here is, are we seeing demand for new skills brought on by the new normal? And how is your business going about attracting, not just attracting them to your business, but also retaining those talents as well, with a lot of competition in a very talent short market? So I'll hand over to the panel. Who'd like to take that question?
Maybe I would like to jump to this question. Yes, James. So today, especially in our industry, in healthcare or medical device, we have quite a lot of demand. Yeah. So the competition was there, and the specific qualifications very, very limited in Indonesia. So of course, the first step, we have to maintain our own resource, yeah. But meanwhile, we need to find new talents out external. So one of the key things that I found during the pandemic appears that people now, especially for the younger people, they really are looking for what is the value of your company. Yeah. So when we present to them about this is our value, that in Dräger Indonesia we have what we call is a technology for life, or saving life. it's really one of the things that they find that, oh, it's some things that I would like to join. I mean, interesting for them. Yeah, because we are not talking about the money, but it's more value than the money. That's one thing that I found today, especially in Indonesia for the younger generations. And the flexible of working, also one thing that they really expect, that when you are with the new development of technology, they're really looking the flexibility of working from everywhere. Now it's become the demand in fact. Yeah, so it's not working from home, it's not working from office, but it's working from everywhere. So those things, two things, I believe is something that now the talent is expecting from the market.
This is why I'm based in Bali, not Jakarta. Yeah, it's a different way of working, but I think it brings up some very good points. That it also, you are quite detached from your business if you're a long way away. Meeting the team, building team spirit, building culture becomes much more difficult. And I mean, is that something you see as well, Djalu, in terms of how you try and get people working together, team events, company events, that you have to take a different approach to that now? Yes, and of course we also so the office itself, the function of the office itself, it becomes changing. So it's not like you as a regular place to visit or to go to work, but it's more like you have an interact with your employees. Yeah, so you change the place, your office, as you have a meeting there when you need to have a meeting, or you meet the customer. So for Indonesia Drägers, we changed our office more we have a showroom case where we gather the customer coming, yeah, rather than, so we put a small space for our office, yeah, and we get more bigger for our customer area, so we can have a more training to the customer, more showroom, or educate the external party comings. So office space is also different, but we are still interact with our employee. Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Djalu. Angie, you look like you're ready to talk.
Yes, I'm ready to jump. Okay, so in terms of attracting and retaining talent, for us, we broke it down into two parts. One is the talent we had to retain, and it was about the old talent learning new skills. And then in terms of the new talent, how we were going to bring them into a business where there was a lot of personal interaction with the client. We sell a very high price product service. And in terms of that confidence and in terms of making that sale, it was normally done face to face. Obviously, we had to retrain the skills of our top salespeople. So where they were able to do face-to-face sales, it was a question of how do you do it through a screen? How do you establish that trust? Luckily, we had a couple of people who were excellent in terms of their skills in this area, who worked in our telesales and CRM areas. So we basically created new heroes in our system to help the other people in the sales team. The other thing that we did, which not only helped us retain, but helped us to attract new clients, is that new employees, is that we totally changed the way in which we connected with our employees. In the past, we used to have monthly meetings where you actually had almost every department in the organization come in and be a part of the meeting with the sales team who were out there nationwide trying to promote our services. And what we did was that we took that online, but then we started connecting with people who were further away from us, maybe on a weekly basis, on a bi-weekly basis. And it wasn't only about connecting to check on how the business was going, but it was a question of how they were doing. And the healthcare system in Thailand, unfortunately, did not do such a great job in taking care of people who were affected by COVID. So since we do have nurses and we do have scientists on team, we actually went to the point where we were preparing care packs. If somebody was right away detected with COVID, all the supplements, all the medications, all the suggestions in terms of how to take care of themselves, finding a bed, we took that upon us to help our employees. And we were doing that for some of our clients too, because there was such a shortage here. So it gave the employees a very different comfort in terms of being with us. And we started to introduce wellness into the organization. And I become involved in an initiative that has been started here in Thailand, which is called the Wellness Corporate Nation Building Program, which is taking wellness into organizations. In countries in this part of the world, it's still a very new concept. So allowing them to understand how you take wellness in and how it actually gives you better employees and actually a better bottom line. So with these initiatives, we're not only retaining, we're attracting new talent. And the other part is that where we had to have personal interaction with our clients, we basically started to develop talent within the medical facilities that we used to be able to visit. So doctors' offices and hospitals, there were their staff who we were training on our product, on our services, so they could give the knowledge to the patients. And this was done with collaborations with the hospitals and clinics so that we had another voice to talk about our business for us. So that reduced the stress levels in terms of our business, in terms of the bottom line. Luckily, we did very well. We actually had growth in 2020 and 2021. And on the other side, we were able to show our employees, especially the sales force, how business could be done differently. In terms of the back offices, in terms of operations, lots of new ways to work. So we were giving them new tools. We invested in new tools. And most importantly, last and not the least, is that we used this time as a time to look inward, to improve our overall systems and see how we could support our people. So they could see how we were looking for ways to improve the business and improve their quality of life at the same time.
Thanks, Anjie. And when you're engaging talent out there in the market, are you going through quite traditional routes, or are you using different types of social media or any different types of new approaches to attract them to your company, whether it's by promoting the new training that you do or the health and wellness that your company offers or flexibility? Do you find there's ways that help to attract certain demographics better than others?
To be honest with you, I think that as a company, we do have a reputation in terms of taking care of our people, in terms of the ethical bar and the way we've been operating has given us a very good reputation out there in the market, at least in this business. In terms of attracting, we are putting it out there, but the people we required in our industry is very, very specific, very specialized. And there are only 3 or 4 companies in the entire country that are engaged in this business. So the talent pool is very limited. And the information flows, who's doing what, how they're taking care of your people. So the word of mouth has actually been also very important for us, in addition to what we're putting out there through the recruitment agencies, the online recruitment that we're doing, and a lot of the referrals that we're getting from people that this may be somebody who's suitable for your system. Yeah,
that's very true. And, candidates or employees who are unhappy take to social media quite quickly. Exactly. And news spreads much, much quicker than it used to these days. Yes. So yeah, making sure that the social media side of things, Glassdoor reviews, everything across the board, all starts with a better candidate experience through the interview process and then onboarding, offboarding, all parts of that process. And yeah, all very good points. Things that we see with our clients as well, and things that we've experienced internally, is that training material that we've used, in one way or another over the last decade, we've been in Indonesia for about 17 years now, has all changed. And exactly the points that you mentioned, well, how do you sell online? Yeah, how do you engage in different ways? And there are good voices out there. I think Tony Robbins, Simon Sinek, there are lots of people who talk about these types of techniques, but certainly the juniors and the young people coming to our business learning those skills, they seem to really enjoy that. And something that we've really noticed as well is that a lot of our employees now really enjoy recognition, at each stage of that process, and, getting recognized, even if it's for smaller things. It adds to that gamification of the process where you can level up, and it's more engaging and more fun for them through that journey. But thanks for that, Angie. Yeah, fantastic points. Anne, I can see you're off mute. Looks like you're ready to talk.
Yeah, because this topic is so interesting. So I little bit want to jump in the conversation, because like in MSD, we also talk about this a lot. And okay, why we have to do that, and what and how we do that to recruit, to retain the talent and the workforce. So in general, we have the global strategic framework for diversity, inclusion, and equity. So we have a DNIs, the strategic here, because we based on we have a different customer centrics. So that's why we want to build up our workforce, something they also have a diversify, and to diversity. Yes, so we ensure that. And it's not enough, but also we need to do something how to make them feel like they belong to the company. They have a good environment here for they respect. They have a chance to develop themselves and grow up more in their career later. And that's why somehow we leverage a lot of the activity linked to the DNI in the environment and the company, from global to the local team. Besides that, we also develop a lot of another strategic framework for the new ways of working. So besides of that, how we make the team feel like they are just the one. They have one voice, one team, and they can have based on that they can open to speak up, because they can speak up about their and something, give the feedback to the team, to the company, organization, for the betters. So I think in this we are ongoing to do that and apply more the DNI in our activity. Besides of that, something for the retain talent, especially after COVID, the company also apply the hybrid. We have hybrid working. So it means that after the COVID, the people, after they stay a long time at home, right? Now they feel like, oh, I also want to come to office to see my colleagues, but otherwise, sometimes I also have a flexible working time. And the company also give something, the policy, the flexible working policy for the staff. And we of course we have KPI and a lot of things to help the supervisor and the staff to implement that. However, it's also one of the way we apply here for the DNI and for the way of working, new way of working in our strategy. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks, Anne. So what we'll do now is just move on to the last part